Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, and in today's news, the sum of $37,600. That is how much Prince Harry might, per some very complicated calculations, have earned per minute for speaking an engagement at the JP Morgan Alternative Investment Summit in February. Unless your surname is Bezos or you are of that ilk, this is a whopping, life-changing sum of money, so large it could even buy a one-bedroom flat in an inner Sydney that does not look into a brick wall. However, if your surname is Sussex, this might not be enough to cover your day-to-day expenses. In January, Harry and Meghan seemingly tried to outline how they thought they were going to fund their new life when they unveiled their glossy new personal website. According to them, 5% of their financing came from the sovereign grant. That is the money working members of the royal family receive from the state, while 95% came from the Prince Charles. In stepping back from frontline duties, they planned to give up the government's money and become financially independent. Since then, their financial situation has only grown more opaque. For one thing, they currently receive around $4.5 million from Prince Charles via his Duchy of Cornwall Trust, which is valued at about $1.9 billion. Would Harry and Meghan, under this new arrangement, keep getting such a nice daddy windfall? Ditto, who will pick up the security bill for the couple now that they are about to become private citizens? Well, that figure going forward has been pegged at anywhere from $5.8 to $39 million. The short answer is a bloody lot. All of which before we have even gotten into paying for Archie's ongoing rompers, Harry's signature black puffer jackets, and Meghan's yoga mats. So, just how much money do they need to earn a year to pay for everything? Let's start with a house. Because you can't keep borrowing somewhere to live from a mystery billionaire forever, since November the family has been staying at a $20 million home in Vancouver Island, the ownership of which remains a tantalizing mystery. At some point though, they are going to need to get their own place. While they have only said they will be based in North America, Los Angeles is looking more and more likely their ultimate destination, given it is the home of the entertainment business, of which Meghan is reportedly keen to rejoin, and her mother, Doria Ragland. Assuming they did head to the state, Malibu, which is about a 45-minute drive from Beverly Hills, and on the coast, seems to be a good bet with recent reports they were looking at a house owned by former Baywatch star David Shavit, which is on the market for $10.5 million. Even if the particular mansion is not the cup of Fortum and Mason tea they would be looking and having to shell out a similar sum of money for a house that is not only large enough but private enough and safe enough. Total, $10.5 million. Designer duds. While Prince Harry is currently enjoying a delightful love affair with a humble black puffer jacket, Meghan is a woman with some serious child-style chops and an impressive knack for pairing high street with wildly high-end prices. In 2019, her wardrobe cost $367,000. Given that her days are no longer spent studiously shaking hands and hugging the devoted masses, she will most likely need less work clothes. That said, hanging out with the Cardinals or the Clooneys necessitates a certain couture flair. Therefore, let's assume she spends half as much on duds this year, total $177,000. Bodyguards and more bodyguards. Now this is a particularly thorny-lined item. Currently, the Sussex's family has 6 gun-toting protection officers drawn from the Special Metropolitan Police Unit, which protects Windsor's and Westminster's great and good. While there is no firm number, last week the Mirror reported having seen an initial Scotland Yard report, which they report revealed a staffing crisis within the squad that protects the royals, which is now facing an increasing and unprecedented demand from the royal couple. The same Mirror report said the future cost for keeping the Sussexes safe could be anywhere from $19.4 million to $39 million. Contributing to this is the fact that it is expected that the young couple will globetrot and separately at times, necessitating separate security teams. With the Canadian government having said they would not pick up the tab, and with the question of the British taxpayers incurring the ongoing cost of political hot potato, this expense might ultimately fall on the Sussexes to sort out. Being conservative, let's go with the lower end of the projected future costs reported by the Mirror, $19.4 million. Jetting about the place. it's time to talk about the private jets, namely, who pays for them. To start with, not the humble UK taxpayer. While official royal travel, such as during official engagements and international tours, is picked up by the sovereign grant, any private travel that the Windsors do, they have to pay for themselves. So, when Kate and William tote their brood to Mustique for some vitamin D and quality Middleton family time, they have to put their hands in their pockets. Now, Harry and Meghan are parting ways with the sovereign grant. They'll have to pay for not only all of their travel, but staff costs for their security team, a nanny, and any personal securities. Let us say you would now travel as an 8-person entourage: Harry and Meghan, a nanny, 2 assistants, and 3 bodyguards. That makes each Los Angeles to London trip return $88,000. Let's assume they make the trip twice a year. That is $176,000. And we haven't even gotten to any private jet trips they might want to make. Again, we will play it safe and assume they will just make it 2 return payee jaunts to New York. That would add $180,000 to their bill. Total, $356,000. Office staff. In February, it was confirmed that Harry and Meghan's entire office staff of 15, who were based at Buckingham Palace, were either being made redundant or deployed elsewhere. While the Sussex family now might not need quite so much secretarial nous and planning chops, they are still going to need various assistants to book travel and keep their lives running like clockwork. Therefore, let's work on the assumption they decide they want a team of 3 or more, junior staff with 1 senior private secretary running the show. That would cost approximately $400,000. Total, $30.8 million. Breaking that down, that equates to them having to do 28 JP Morgan style events a year, working on the assumption they each paid around $1.1 million, which translates to more than 1 to a fortnight. And that's just a thread of financial water for the first 12 months and their new independent life. With the clock ticking down to March 31st, their official exit date from being working members of the royal family, here's hoping Meghan can teach Harry some handy vocal warm-up exercises. Boy is going to have to protect his voice. That's all for today's news. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you next video.